Still loading up. Okay, now it's good.
Hello, everyone. Good day. Happy day. Hope everyone is doing well. So, today we have an interesting topic to discuss. The topic is about myocarditis. Again, it's about myocarditis and its association with the COVID 19 vaccination. All right.
I've been sitting here thinking about all the things you do for me, how you make me feel. Been wondering if it's the same for you, but when you're not around, I lose my mind, 'cause you keep it like a secret. Why won't you reveal it? Just please tell me that you feel it.
All right. So, again, I'm going to mention, just in case I mispronounce the word, it's myocarditis, which is Myocarditis. Myocarditis. So I'm going to read a description of what myocarditis is, and so we can be clearer on why we're doing this piece. So, myocarditis is classified as a rare disease, but is estimated to affect thousands of adults and children in the United States and around the world each year. 3.1 million cases of myocarditis and cardiomyopathy were diagnosed in 2017. Statistics posted in Lancet November 2018. Because many individuals and even physicians are unfamiliar with this condition, the Myocarditis Foundation was established in 2005 to provide a trusted resource for thousands affected by myocarditis. Here we'll review the disease cases, symptoms, treatments, and more to answer your most pressing questions. So we won't necessarily get in answering pressing questions. We just reading this piece that was released. Again, myocarditis. Okay. Again, it's Myocarditis. Okay. All right. So recently, a few days ago, just over a week ago, there has been an uproar in what's going on in terms of the COVID-19 vaccination period and what was going on and how we were being mandated to take the jabs, the required jabs to do almost anything, and also booster shots. So a few days ago, or maybe some recent time ago, maybe about a week or so, a famous basketball player's son collapsed, right? And that basketball player, we know him as LeBron James. Some call him King James. His son collapsed at 18 years old. So we're wondering, why is it that young people never before are now collapsing and passing out because of this rare disease? And so we want to take an interest. We took an interest in figuring out and adding our voice in the conversation to try to get a better understanding as to why this phenomenon is taking place. So now, LeBron's son, being so young, everyone is wondering what's going on. So not only that happened, a famous ex-soccer player around the world. It's known as football. In America, we call it soccer. A famous soccer player turned commentator also collapsed. But we're going to play a video of how the media, the government, and the mandate as to what took place and forcing everyone to take the jab. Fortunately, for myself, I did not take it. I was against it, and some people are still feeling that they should take it, and it's still being required in many parts of the world that it has to be taken, and certain criterias where it has to be taken or are given in order to be able to acquire certain benefits or other things that you may need to better your life. So, with that being said, Clyde, take it away. Play that video.
Gotcha.
Who are the unvaccinated? You are the problem. It is the unvaccinated who are the problem. Period. End of story.
The only people that you can blame, this isn't shaming, this is the truth. Maybe they should be shamed, are the unvaccinated.
It's time to start blaming the unvaccinated folks, not the regular folks.
Anyone you came into contact with will blame you, as will the rest of us who've done the right thing by getting vaccinated.
Because frankly, we know that we can't trust the unvaccinated.
I think it's time to get our moral house in order, Anderson. It's the unvaccinated who are the threat.
All the vaccinated folks are going to start wearing masks to protect the unvaccinated folks. It's called a Christian value.
You're basically punishing the vaccinated for the sins of the unvaccinated.
People are not behaving honorably. The unvaccinated are basically saying, well, it's open season for me. I can do whatever I want as well.
The unvaccinated are basically beating their breasts, running around the country saying, we don't care, we're living free, and so forth.
We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
The unvaccinated, a group that includes children and people acting like children. And the rest of us are starting to get pissed off.
The vaccinated feel the unvaccinated are making me upset or angry.
This is not about freedom or personal choice.
Well, as you can see, it's really a serious situation out there. And as you can see, many people in the media were pushing the narrative. And I personally had a very long time friend, childhood friend, from I was in my teenage years, went to school, high school together, and he and his wife came to visit their parents for some family crisis. And we spoke on an off basis. And during visiting them and the family, because his mom and dad were kind of like my mom and dad in a way, because I was always there every day after school. We all got together there and watched TV, and his parents, they treated me like one of their sons. And during the family get together to discuss the situation that the family went through, I won't really get into it because it's their personal affair, their private affairs, and so I don't really want to discuss it. But anyway, I expressed my concerns with the vaccination and why I won't get the vaccination, and they were consistently in that time that I was there, maybe for about an hour, kept on talking about why I should do it. I'm talking about nurses that were in the family. They were saying, you should get it, you should get it. What if you don't get it and something happened to you? You're going to say, you should have gotten it. You're going to be like, I should have gotten it, I'm so sorry. But then the sorry is going to be too late because you didn't take the vaccination. And I said to them, I won't get sick. I know I won't get sick. And I even told them, I said, listen, the last times I've gotten sick is many, many years ago. I said I got sick, I can remember in 1997, I got the flu, and I did not get sick again until 2007. Those 2007 was the last time I was sick of anything. Of course, I have the normal weather allergies, pollen allergies. But I was very adamant that I will not be taking the vaccination, right? My mom contracted COVID twice, I believe twice, yes. And I encouraged her not to take it. And I can give you a brief reason why I encouraged her not to take it. So she had a good friend. And that friend had another friend. And they told her not to go and take the COVID vaccine. But out of fear, she decided that she was going to take the COVID vaccination. And not to fearmonger here, but it's something that actually happened. I'm very familiar with it because I understood when it happened. I heard my mother having a conversation with her friend, and they were discussing it and trying to convince the other friend not to do it, and she went ahead. She went in, took the vaccination. The Tuesday morning, I believe it was a Tuesday morning. On Wednesday, she was fine. Thursday, she woke up not feeling well, so they had to rush her to the hospital. She went into cardiac arrest. And on Friday night, she got worse. By the end of Friday, Saturday, she passed on. Right? And obviously, I can't 100% prove that it was because she took the shot, but she was a fairly healthy older woman that took the vaccination and then right after started feeling ill and then collapsed. And they had to rush her to the hospital, and a few days later, she transitioned. So, earlier on, I mentioned about LeBron James's son at 18, and this is something that's going on. There are young people that's just falling out. But I also mentioned about a famous soccer player that while on camera doing a commentary at a game, he also passed out, right? So cardiomyopathy and myocarditis, those are the two things that we have to take in this piece that we're doing, right? And again, I'm going to read that part about cardiomyopathy. So 3.1 million cases of myocarditis and cardiomyopathy were diagnosed in 2017. 2017. COVID-19 was 2019, and up until about 2022.
2022, yeah.
Right? Before
beginning 2020, about 2 years. They lasted 2.5 years, something like that.
Before the mandate lifted.
That was towards the beginning of 2022, I believe.
Right,
yeah.
right. Mm-hmm. Even earlier on today, I mentioned to Clyde, right, that apparently the Biden administration is going to now be on an investigation. I don't know where that's going. I didn't really sink my teeth too much into that. It was while I was looking up this piece and thinking about my child, and I even had to call her mother again today to confirm that she did not allow our daughter or take our daughter to get the shot, because I didn't want to one day something happen and my only child, our only child, is no longer here, I didn't want to take that chance, right? And unfortunately for a lot of people, you know, my heart goes out to them, but it's what's going on, right? So if 3.1 million people were diagnosed with cardiomyopathy and myocarditis in 2017, think about what's going on now, right after COVID-19 up until our current time. So, Shaka Hislop is the ex-soccer player that became a commentator, and he fell out while doing a commentary for a game he was at a few days ago, right? And so we want to just give you a brief clip of his collapsing. But before we go there, Clyde, notice that it is almost like his brain and his body did not correspond, because while he was going through that phase of standing still and passing out, he had a smile on his face, still talking. It's almost as if his body did something his brain was not compensating for.
Yeah.
Right? So
we play back.
Yeah, let's play that piece.
He's been left behind. He's on the naughty step from PSG. He's not gone on the tour of Japan. Shaq.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
Yes. Flip the cam on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this is it's quite unbelievable, like what happens here, right? Like, I remember when when they were pushing for the vaccine in the beginning, how, like, 'cause I'm usually like not in the loop when it comes to mainstream media. I don't watch that much of that stuff, but I still felt, that there was like a constant push for it, and I don't know. It seemed like every time somebody's like, "Come on, do it," like, just come on,
Right.
everything will be good. Like it becomes very like untrustworthy. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I, as a friend of yours for many years, I also asked you if you took the jab, and you didn't. And did you have any family members that?
Nobody in my family did. Like, nobody really wanted to take the vaccine, trusted in the thing, and we're all the same when it comes to that. Like, we don't really watch much mainstream media, like news and stuff. One of my family members had to finally succumb to actually take the vaccine because of some documentation things that he had.
Yeah.
So, because I'm talking,
Yeah, I got you.
So he had to, in order to get some documentation work properly filled out and pushed through, he had to take the Johnson & Johnson. But it was against his will. He didn't want to take the vaccine. He didn't want to do it. He's very much into health, like fitness, training.
Right.
He trains a lot. So this was completely against him. He was completely against this whole vaccine thing. But he had to do it in order to follow through on the documentation that he was working on.
Right.
And this was...
Plus he also had to travel.
Exactly. So this is what you mentioned before, that in order for certain things to fall in line, like if you want to do certain things, they force you to take the vaccine, and it basically leaves you no choice.
Yeah. So even people like Joe Rogan was not advocating for it. And there are many people that got really, for lack of a better choice of word, demonized for not being a part of the narrative, right? So even myself, not being a part of the narrative and want to be a part of the narrative in a bigger way, I expressed how I felt about it, and it's so important that now we can look back. In hindsight, we can say, I told you so, right? And I have friends that have taken it, and knock on wood, they haven't experienced any health issues, and I hope that they don't. But scientists and doctors are worried that over the next 10 years, we're going to see a very serious uptick in this crisis of cardiomyopathy and myocarditis, and they're wondering how many, possibly hundreds of thousands. I would go a stretch further and say possibly worldwide millions of people that are going to have these conditions. Now, I must profess the part of what I'm going to say next. Many people already have these conditions. Now, having this condition, this condition is part of what people experience maybe when they're, maybe I would say premature, or in birth, or other issues maybe coming from hereditary issues. However, people that have no history, no hereditary history of these kind of conditions, it's now happening in them. And so I now in this present time is hoping and saying, hey, I'm not a big prayer. I don't follow certain religious beliefs. I respect them, but I don't follow them. I believe in other things. I believe in karma. What goes around comes around. Do unto others as like done in yourself. And I don't think that's what took place. I think we were being forced to do unto others as we wouldn't like done unto ourselves. And for that, everyone out there, I'm hoping that you are well in the future, and what the scientists and the doctors are saying actually don't become the crisis that they are hoping and hoping and praying that does not take place. You know, because during that period, doctors, medical doctors with decades of history and knowledge and understanding about diseases, heart issues, health issues, were being silenced. Think about it. They were taking advice from people that had no understanding, have no medical background, no scientific study. It's just, hey, this happened, we need to do this, rush, do. And the companies that actually are responsible for making these medication will serve there will be no consequences, will serve no consequences, right? They are totally above any consequential ramifications. And just to think about being knowledgeable and experienced and they actually went to years and years of college and higher learning, universities, right? Study for years to get their doctorate degree, and then to be told that they can't speak on something that they don't think should actually be happening. They were silenced, and then all the social media platforms were mandated to convey the same narrative. It was almost like it was just. I'm a bit taken back to see what's going on now. You know, that there's far more. And for those of you that will watch this and are watching this, I would hope that you will look further into it. Right? I would hope that you look further into it. And on that note, I think we will play our song and see you again on the next time around, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and see you soon. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, share, and help us grow this platform so we can have a bigger voice. So as you learn from us, you think about what we're talking about and what messages that we're putting out there, and how we're trying to bridge the gaps and how we're saying what we're saying. Give us your feedback. If we have to make corrections, we are willing to make the corrections and keep it consistent and keep the information out there. So again, thank you for watching another episode of Risqué Conversation. All right, let's take it away with our song.
I've been sitting there thinking about all the things you do for me, how you make me feel. Been wondering if it's the same for you, but when you're not around, I lose my mind, 'cause you keep it like a secret. Why won't you reveal it? Just please